Hey guys, this is Rosakelly. Welcome to a new 1 hour crafting series. So today I went ahead and created a trifold little book. This is kind of like a folio, but we have 3 different sections. And so if you guys are enjoying this series, I hope that you consider becoming a member to my channel and enjoying some bonus tutorials, some technique classes and live classes as well. And also check out my Patreon for an exclusive collection every month and exclusive tutorial with that as well. Also, I am bringing back the podcast, so I am doing a video podcast every month as well as a bonus behind the studio blog. So let's go ahead and take a look at this book. So of course, as always, I do have a cutting guide which is going to be linked on the description box below. I went ahead and used Velcro first because I don't have magnets right now, but also I think this turned out really cute with the Velcro added. So we're just gonna open this up. This folio here measures 6.5 by 8.5, and again it is a trifold, so we have 3 sections over here. So when we open these up, I added another piece of Velcro here, which is actually a really good option if you are kind of long magnets, running out of magnets. I usually like magnets more because they're seamless, but for features like these, I recommend using Velcro for that. But anyway, so this opens up like this, and this opens and down, and then over here I kind of have these, I didn't put paper on this part. This is the only section that I didn't add paper, but we have so many places for pictures. This is kind of like a little flat explosion box, so you have a lot of room to put pictures here. So we're just gonna close and close and close, and all of that goes right at the center. Then over here on this middle section, this opens and opens, and then these two are these little floating photo mats in there, so you can add pictures there. And then this also opens up and it opens down, and as you can see, we were even able to decorate this trifold within our hours. So everything from start to finish you'll be able to create. And then over here on the right, I just made this dimensional pocket so you can add even more photo mats. If you are using this for your pets, I think this pocket is really perfect if you want to kind of store their shots, you know, like sometimes I struggle finding their vaccines records, so I think it's a perfect, very practical pocket. So kind of keep all of that in one place so you know where to find it. But yeah, so that is the project that we are gonna be making today. I hope that you guys like it, and let's get right to it. Okay, so for this project, we are going to be using some heavyweight cardstock, and the collection that I'm using is called Meow by My Mind's Eye. It's a really cute collection. It has all these really little kitties and kitty details. So we're gonna get started with this. I'm gonna start on the timer that I do need to pick up my daughter in an hour, so I probably won't be able to finish the whole hour. I might come back to it, or I might try to finish in 40 minutes. But let's go ahead and set the timer for an hour and get started with this book. So I want this to be a trifold, really easy, with a lot of features, of course, but we'll see what we come out with. So I'm going to start with this piece. This is going to be 8.5, and I'm going to do this by 6.5. Okay, let's make sure this is 8.5. And so this is 110-pound cardstock, using the Recollections brand. Then I'm going to cut 2 pieces. And these are going to be 7.5 by 8.5. And of course I have a cutting guide, so if you would like to download that, it's gonna be linked on the description box below. We are going to score these 2 pieces along the 7.5 I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and at 1.5. Okay, so same thing for the second one. We're going to score, actually, let me take that back. The second one, we're going to score at 1, okay, and at 1.5. Okay, so just a little bit different. And we are going to fold along the score lines. So fold along the score lines here. And we are going to grab the first piece that is 6.5, and we are going to add the first one on the left side. So let's add some glue over here. Just gonna add glue, and we're going to line this up, place this on the left side, and press down. We are going to open this up, and we're going to add the other one on the other side. So this one we're gonna glue on the 1 inch. We're gonna add the glue on the 1 inch, and we are going to line this up here and press down. Okay, so that way we have here our trifold panels, or 3 sections. So this is gonna close. Here you have a 1/2 inch gusset, and then this one has a 1 inch gusset. So it's a little bit different than making a folio per se, because now we have these 3 places where we're gonna be able to add features. So now let's go ahead and add the features here. So I am going to cut 2 pieces, 5.5 by 8.5, and we are going to score these here along the 8.5. We're going to score at, I'm gonna do 7.5 and 8 for both. Okay, so 7.5 and 8, and I do want to make sure that this is 5.5, so I'm going to just double check. Okay, so 5.5 by 8.5, and score at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch, and we're going to fold and fold along the score lines, and then we're going to open this up, and we're going to add these 2 pieces on this panel, first panel, which is going to be on the left side. And we are going to go ahead and add some glue and add this along the top. We're gonna center that, press down, and then we're going to open this up and add this one. Okay, so that will go along the bottom here. Okay, so we're just gonna line it up with the one on the top and press down. Okay, so now we have these 2 flaps right here, and as you can see we have another 1/2 inch, so they should all close perfect to that 1 inch after we add all of the features in. And so, okay, so that's gonna be this. And now I'm gonna do the center here. Before I do the center, I'm going to start with my design paper. So we're gonna be adding the paper as we go, and I am going to skip the places where I need to add magnets, because I'm waiting for my magnets still, and I'm gonna have to just add those later. So I'm cutting these at 5 3/4 by 8 1/4, Okay, and then we're gonna glue this piece here. Let me open this down, and I'm going to add this right at the center. Okay, so add my glue, and I'm going to put this page here, and I'm adding this so I can glue my next feature here on top. So for the next feature, I'm going to cut one page at, let's do 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so we're gonna do one of those, and then we're going to do 4 pieces, and these are going to be 5 1/2. I might have to do it this way, so let's do 2 at a time. So we're gonna do this 5 actually by 10 1/2. Okay, and we need 4 of those, so 5 here by 10 1/2, and we are going to score along the 10 1/2. We're going to score at 5 and at 10. So we're just gonna do 5 and 10, and the same for this one, 5, 10, and 5 and 10, and then this last 5 and 10. And then we're going to fold along the score lines. Okay, so we're gonna do 4 of these kind of like accordion folds. So that's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and we are going to bring the piece that is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and we are going to glue these pieces one on each side. Okay, so I'm gonna add this along the top, and you want to center it. Okay, so the base will be just a tiny bit bigger. Then we're going to open this up and add the one on the bottom. So we're gonna add this one right there, and again center it, press down. Then we're going to open this up and add the 2 here for the sides. So I'm gonna do 1. Okay, and then open that up and add the other one. So just count how many places for pictures we have over here. So each one of these flaps gives you 4, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have times 4, which is 16, and then the bottom here. And we're gonna close and close all of those. So we have the top, the sides, and we are going to place these inside our book. And let me just add a piece of my cardstock. Oh, this one is so cute. I might use this on the cover too. This one is really cute. So I'm going to cut these at 4 3/4. I don't like to cut the cuts in half, but they're kind of everywhere. So I'm just gonna go here and use this little kitty. So 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay, So 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And oh, I didn't do 4 3/4 this way. And I'm just going to add this on the front. You will cut the same size for pretty much all of these pieces. How do I want to hold this? I'm gonna put it right there like that. Okay, so I won't be adding the paper for everything, but that will be that measurement. And then for the one on the bottom, you will cut a piece at 5 by 5. So I'm just gonna do 5 by 5, and then this one will go over like at the center. And so let's add these right there. Press down. So we're gonna close, and close, and add these to our center. That's gonna go right there. So let's just go ahead and add the glue. Okay, I think I need to refill my glue, and that's just gonna go right there. Now over here you will add a magnet and add a magnet to keep this side closed, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the paper for that. So I'm going to use this piece here, and we are going to cut these at 5 1/4. Yeah, we're going to do 5 1/4 by, I believe, 7 1/4. Let's double check. Yeah, so 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and then you will do the same 4 times, right? But I'm just gonna add the one for the front. Okay, so you will do, I'm not doing this one because I need to add a magnet here, and then 2 on the back, and then you have that feature on the center. So I'm gonna keep that just like that, and so we're gonna work on the next section, which is going to be this center, and for that I am going to we're going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces. Let's do, again, 5 1/2 is a measurement I like because I can get 2 from one cut, from one page. So again, 5 1/2, and then we are going to make sure this is 8 1/2. Okay, and then we are going to score at 1/2 inch both pieces along the 5 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to do, let's add another page here, and I'm going to do 2 pieces of 5, and I'm going to do these ones at 6. Okay, so 5 by 6, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch along the 5 inches. And fold along the score lines. Okay, so same thing for this one. So we're gonna fold along the score lines and fold. Okay, and I'm going to just bring the books, that way we can glue it. I'm going to open, and we're gonna work here on the center. So I'm going to start by adding this piece on the left side. Let's get the glue. Let's see, so we're just gonna add these and place that on the left side and press down. Then we're going to open this one up, and I'm going to add the smaller page, the one that measures 6 inches, and we are going to glue that on the inside. Okay, so that can go right here. So I'm just gonna close this so I can press this down. Okay, now we're gonna do the same on the other side. So add the glue. We're gonna put that right there. Press down. And again, I'm gonna open this one and add that. Right over here. Okay, so I'm trying to match it with the other side and press down. Okay, so we have these 2 openings. Okay, so now we're gonna cut our paper. So let's just put this to the side for a minute, and let's pick another page. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. We're gonna cut 2 pieces at 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to cut 2 pieces. I'm just gonna use this left over here, and this is going to be 4 1/4. Yes, 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so now let's bring this back. Bring this back, open and open and open, and we are going to glue this on the inside. Okay, so you will do the same size for the outside, of course, but I'm just gonna add that right here, and then the big panel. Okay, let's put this right there. Oops. Okay, and over here the same. Okay, I think I need to just take a quick break and refill my glue. Okay, but let's see how far can we go. Just add this piece over and this one here. Okay, press down. I'm gonna close it so I can press down. Okay, so now for the inside, I'm going to be adding a couple features. So I'm gonna use these 2 little leftover pieces, perfect size. So these are 2 1/2 by 5, and we're going to score along the 5 inches at 1, 2, and 4. Okay, we're gonna do the same for the other one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4. And fold along the score lines. And same thing for this one. We're gonna fold, fold, fold. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces, and I'm gonna do this at like 4, or let's do 3.5 by 4.25. Okay, I think that's good. And now we are just going to bring this back again, open this up, so we're still here on the center, and we're going to open up this flap, and we're gonna glue these pieces to add some little floating features over here. So the side that has the 1 inch is going to go on that flap, on the left flap. Okay, so I'm just gonna add glue. So we're gonna add this one on this flap, the one that opens. Press down, and then the other side we're gonna add glue here on this 1 inch, and we are going to fold both pieces back and just close that whole page and press down. And I'm just gonna do the same on this side. So the 1 inch will go over here, the 1 inch that is by itself, that is going to go there. Okay, and the other side we're just gonna add the 1 inch, or the glue on this 1 inch, but we're gonna fold both 1 inch sections and close. And now we are just going to open and add these floating mats. You can leave that there and put a little picture there if you want to, but we're just gonna add glue and add the floating page feature. Close that, and same thing over here. Okay, so we are just gonna put that one right there and close and press down. So these are gonna be the 2 main features here on the center flap page. And yeah, so now for the center, I'm going to just add another feature. So let me add a piece that is going to be, I'm gonna do, let's do 5.5 again. So I'm gonna do 5.5 by 7.5. Okay, so 5.5 by 7.5. And then we're going to do 1/2 inch along the 7.5. Do 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and then just fold and fold along the score lines. And we are going to just add these 2 at the center, so that way we have more places for pictures. So we want to center that. Let's add the glue. Okay, so that's gonna go there. And then we're gonna do this other one. And place that right here and press down. Okay, so now we have these 2 flaps. And now we can add paper. So let's see, maybe I want to do something bold. And I'm gonna need something cute. Okay, so we're gonna do this page here. This is going to be 6.25 by 8.25. Okay, so that's gonna be the center. And then we're gonna do this at 6 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, by 5 1/4. And let's bring these. Let's open, and we're gonna open this up and down. And I'm just going to glue this. I'm gonna make sure this will fit in between all of that. Okay, so let's add the glue. Okay, place that at the center. Okay. And you will cut 2 more of these for the back, but I'm just gonna do one for right now. And we are going to add glue. Okay, so let's place one and this one over here. Okay, and there you go. So cute. I love that page. Okay, so we have that, a little bit of the black picking. I still need to add cardstock here and here, of course, so maybe we can do that center. What can we add on this center? Oh my goodness, the cutest page. Okay, I'm gonna save that for the cover. My goodness, they're all so cute. Okay, so maybe this meow on the black I can put right here at the center. So we're gonna cut this at 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, so we're just gonna do these two. And let's bring this over, and we're going to add these pages at the center. Okay, so put that right there. Open this up, and we're going to glue this down. Okay, so that it's gonna go right over here and press. Okay, so now we're gonna continue with this right side, and so for this one I want to actually add a dimensional pocket to that page. So I'm going to cut one piece. This one is going to be 6, let me think, yes, 6 by 8 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are going to be 5 by 2. Okay, so 5 by 2. There we go. And then I'm going to do another piece, and this one is going to be 3 1/2 by 8 1/2. Okay, and now we're going to score. So the piece that is 3 1/2 by 8 1/2, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and then I'm also going to score between the 1/2 inch and the 1 1/2. So I'm going to score at 1 1/2 here. So between these two spaces, I'm going to score at every 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm just gonna go on each one like that. Then for the pieces that measure 2 inches, we're going to score at half, 1 and 1.5. Same thing for the other one, half, oops, half, 1 and 1.5. And then for the piece that measures 6 inches, we are going to score at 1 inch. Okay, and now we're just going to fold along the score lines. So I'm going to fold these pieces. These are going to be little accordion folds. This one here too. Fold and fold. And then we're going to glue these pieces right over here. So I'm going to actually leave a little space so this can fold on top. So I'm going to make this a bit smaller. I'm just going to cut about 1/4 inch. So instead of 5, we could do 4 3/4. So those went flying. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and glue. I refilled my glue, that's why I stopped the video for a second, and it just feels so much better. Okay, so we are going to press here. So we're gonna add the 2 accordion folds on the sides. Okay, so make sure the center is pointing towards the inside of the pocket. And I'm just gonna line those up. And then we are going to bring back the page or the book, open it and open it. And we are going to glue this pocket right on the left side over here. Okay, so we're gonna add glue on this 1 inch section first. Okay, and I'm just gonna line this up. Okay, so we're gonna do the 1 inch first. Just make sure that one is going straight. Then I'm gonna open this up and press down. And then we are going to do the 2 sides. Oops. Okay, so press down here. Press down and press down. And then we're going to add this is gonna be kind of like the cover for this pocket. So we're gonna score that 1/2 inch or fold along that score line. And then the rest, where we have those little score lines together, we're just gonna round and maybe with this will be easier to kind of round this up, make this into a more flexible cover for this pocket. And I'm going to glue this 1/2 inch, okay, right here, and then just line this up, press down and press down, and that is going to be our flexible or expandable pocket here on this side. And then that's gonna close like that. And so now I'm just going to add my paper on this page. Oops, so let's see, let me use these little kitties. I actually want something that has that green color, so this one probably. Oh, no, hold on. Sorry, I have one in mind and I can't remember which one it was. Okay, so maybe I'll use this one here. Okay, so that has some green. And we are going to cut these at 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this one here. You could glue your magnet, but I'm going to be using Velcro for this pocket. So I'm just gonna add these over here, and then I'm going to cut another piece for this little section here. So this section measures about 2 inches. So I'm going to use the same, just cut this at 1 3/4 by 8 1/4. And we are going to glue this here on the inside. Okay, and then let's use some of our scrap pages. So maybe this one here for, I'm gonna use this for, I was thinking even here, no, I'm gonna use this for the inside of the pocket. Okay, so let's add the glue and put that right in here. Okay, so it looks a little bit more finished. Press down, and then I'm going to add my Velcro. So I have these little Velcro pieces. So I'm just gonna add this here. Oops. If I can get it out. It's super strong. Well, you get the point. Here we go. So I'm gonna put 1 and 1 here, and then I'm gonna add the back piece and put that right there, and right there. And now I can close this. The good thing about Velcro is that you can always expand a little bit more, and there you go. So those are gonna go. Oh, I'm actually gonna add more glue here just in case my Velcro doesn't stick. And I'm just going to add maybe these over here. Would that be cute? Maybe I'll add, yeah, I'll just use the same. So 1 3/4, and we're going to glue, oops, glue this down. Okay, and just add this piece right there. And there we go. That is really gonna be it for our little trifold. So that's gonna close like that, and then this is gonna close here on top. Now for the closure, I'm going to cut, I'm gonna actually use a piece that I have ready here, or scraps. This is going to be 5. Let's do this by 3, and I'm going to score this here along the 5 inches. I'm going to score at 1 and at 2. Okay, and we are going to fold along the score lines. Let's use this. So we're gonna fold and fold, and then we're going to glue this 1 inch. The first 1 inch I'm gonna glue back here, so this can be kind of like a belt that is gonna loop all the way around. So you want to add the glue on this back side here, and we're gonna put that on the back of the folio. Okay, and then we can close this, right? And then you can add a magnet here, or you can use your Velcro, and that's gonna close like that. I'm going to use these sheets here. So I love this page with all the little kitties. Of course, I love this one too. I mean, I love them all. So we are going to cut these first at 8 1/4. Let's do 8 1/4. And then we are gonna need, I don't know which one I want for the front and which one I want for the back. I mean, okay, so I think this one definitely has to be the front. So we're gonna cut this at 8 1/4, and it's going to be by 5 3/4, and then we can use this one also by 5 3/4, and then I'm gonna use this one for the back. So this will be by 6 1/4. And okay, so I might just use Velcro for my cover. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. Of course, if you want to add magnets, you can do that now before you glue your paper. So let's place that piece right here. Oops. Center that. Okay, here we go. Then I'm going to open that. We're gonna put this one over here. That's my glue. And put this one right there. And then this will be my back piece. Okay, so let's glue this down, and then I will need a little piece for that. So I think I'm gonna use maybe I'll use these little kitties here. So we're gonna cut these at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I'm gonna need two. Let's cut it like that. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, and so we're just going to glue this right here. Okay, and then let's do that, and then we're going to do the front. There we go. And then I'm going to do the spine. So I think this will be cute for the spine. So we're gonna cut these at 8 1/4 by about 3/4 inches. Like that. And then I'm going to do another one that is gonna be 3/4 by, well, actually we need two of these, by 2 3/4. There we go. Okay, so we can glue these little pieces here. I'm just gonna add one right there, one over here. Let's put that, and then we're gonna do one here. The glue. Isn't this paper just so cute? I love this paper. And again, I'm happy that I am finally using it for something. Okay, so we're gonna glue that. Okay, so I am just going to add my Velcro now, and I'm gonna add 2 pieces. I'm gonna have to put that on top of the kitty. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's do 2. Oh, I don't like putting it on her face. I'm just gonna move it up and move this one right here. And then let's add the other back side. I should have put glue on that too, but it's okay. Add that and this one right there. And now we're gonna make sure to hold the sides perpendicular and then press down. Again, with Velcro you always have a little bit more, you know, of a give. If you look it's chunky, you can always adjust it, but with magnets it's a little bit more exact. And there you go. That is gonna be our cute little folio. Let me check my timer. So I have 10 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna finish up adding my paper here. So these 2 pieces were, I think, 6 by 4.5. So I can add, let's see, I kind of want to add the same paper, so I'm going to use this one here and cut these at 4.25 and 4.25. Okay, so that we can put over here. And let's go there. And then open this up. And this one there. And then we have these 2. So I'm really good at remembering when I just make the page, but then after that I forget. And that's what takes the longest too, like measuring each page to add the paper. So when you add the paper as you go, sometimes it just makes the whole project go faster. So I'm going to, actually I'm just gonna use, no, I'm gonna use this one here. So we're gonna cut these at 6 3/4 by 5.25, and we're going to do 2. And let's just finish this up. Okay, so that is going to go right there, and that's gonna go here. So let me know on the description box if you guys are doing the 1 hour crafting as we go, or if you're taking maybe taking notes, saving the project for later, or if you're crafting on something else as you are hanging out with me here. Also let me know what you are making. I think I'm actually going to just go for the Velcro over here as well. So I'm gonna finish up adding the paper on this page, and I think that is gonna be 5.25 by 7.25. Let's just double check. Yes. Okay, so 5.25 by 7.25, and let's put that here. And then I'm gonna use these 2 pieces. So again, 5.25 by 7.25, and this is going to go down here. So another fun little project. Very dynamic, very fun, and I just love these type of books that have different layouts, but we're not struggling with binding. We are just crafting. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add my Velcro piece here. I'm gonna put that right there, and then the back piece right here. I'm gonna add a little more glue to that, and we're gonna hold the gussets perpendicular before we close, and we're just gonna let that dry. And there you go. We have 5 minutes still going, so we're just gonna stop the clock and call this a success. I did speak with my daughter, by the way, and I still had a little bit more time to go pick her up, so that's why I ended up just finishing and not rushing the project. But again, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.